Broadcasting live from atop the Rocky Mountains, the crossroads of the West. You are listening to the Liberty Roundtable Radio Talk Show.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, the America 250 is upon us. It is 4th of July week, ladies and gentlemen. And just so you know, 4th of July is my birthday, so I'm going to turn 59 years old. And 59 years on the planet has really taught me a lot about forgiveness and humility and service and love and kindness and respect and honor and hope and trust and faith and repentance. And I mean, I can keep going on and on and on and on. But you know what's fascinating to me? People around the world are coming for the World Cup. I was in Philadelphia, and man, that place is packed, baby. People are touring America like you would not believe. It is an economic boon, if you will, for we, the people in America. And they're really discovering America. They came for soccer, and they discovered America is the term or the headline that I'm using this. They came for soccer. They discovered America because, man, they're really... You know, they were lied to around the world in their media. America's horrible. America's this. America's that. And they get here and they're like, man, this ain't anything like I've been told. This place is fantastic. It's big. It's wide. It's beautiful. There's AC everywhere. There's great internet. There's just so many drink selections. I mean, they go to Buc-ee's and they just freak, for example. There's just options everywhere when it comes to food and entertainment, and people are nice and holding doors, and all the racism that they were told that we had. You know, people aren't that way. You know, black people are opening doors for white people, and white people are opening doors for black people, and everybody's opening doors for everybody else, and women are opening doors for men, and men are opening doors for women, and man, all this divide stuff that they hear about, they're just like, this is just bogus. So they came for soccer and they discovered America, ladies and gentlemen. Now listen, I have said for more than 30 years in the public eye that America is the greatest country in the world. It's not perfect. It's not without problems. It's not without corruption or bad leaders, bad policy, and there's plenty of fix. There's no doubt about all that. But it's still, ladies and gentlemen, the greatest country in the world, baby. And now something fascinating is happening because of the World Cup. Thousands are coming for the first time and seeing America for themselves. They came for soccer, but wow, what are they filming, you ask? They're filming grocery stores, and they're like, man, there's so many choices on the shelves. It's incredible. They're filming gas stations and going, man, look at all these pumps, and people are in line and peacefully, working together, and their barbecues, joints, they're going, man, the barbecue here is just phenomenal. Waffle Houses, they're going, whoa, these breakfast options are crazy. Buc-ee's, big parking lots, free refills, ice machines, Hughes trucks, school buses, friendly waitresses, people holding doors, strangers being helpful to one another. Many of them are just shocked because they've been told lies for so long. And to defend President Donald J. Trump, this is what he's been saying domestically and internationally ever since he rolled down the escalator in 2015, ladies and gentlemen. He's been making this point, and I think he's right as rain on this point. Why, you ask? Why is this all happening? Because they were told America was terrible. They were told America was dangerous, hateful, broken, backwards, selfish, ugly. Then they got here, ladies and gentlemen, and they found abundance. They found choices. They found kindness. They found convenience. They found energy. They found regular Americans being decent, generous, and welcoming. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the story going out to the whole world right now for 250. Now, let's be clear. I'm not saying America has no problems. Of course we do, folks. Of course we do. We're not perfect. We're human. But the story, ladies and gentlemen, clearly is that the anti-American narrative is not surviving. When you get contact with real Americans, you go, wow, this is cool. Okay? The 2026 World Cup has brought hundreds of thousands of international visitors into the United States of America, ladies and gentlemen. And wow, a social media story is filming everywhere. And they're showing the world what Good Morning America looks like. Okay? I mean, they're just, one lady's like, man, I feel like I'm in a movie. This is incredible. People are going, oh my gosh, I love ranch. I love ranch dip. I love ranch dressing. America food culture has become a breakout World Cup food story. I mean, people are just loving everything. They're going, what is this refill stuff? The bigger point, ladies and gentlemen, is ordinary Americans. I'm going to call them low-key legends, ladies and gentlemen. Everyday Americans are outperforming the propaganda. Not government America, not media, not Hollywood America, not movie sets. Real America, ladies and gentlemen, where we really live, play, pray, eat. All right? It's hospitality. It's love. It's kindness. I mean, I was in the the district of brotherly love recently, ladies and gentlemen, and people were kind and respectful, and man, it was interesting. I've got a couple of points to make about this, folks. Number one, the World Cup has become an accidental advertisement for America. People came for soccer, but many are literally filming supermarkets. Everything related to American life, and they're documenting it for the world to see. It's incredible. It's just something to behold. And this is the time for us to get it right. This is the time for us to teach. Why is it this way in America? Let's go back to the Tocqueville. Alexis de Tocqueville. He said it right. You know, America's great because America's good, meaning moral. If America ceases to be good, America will cease to be great. That, to me, is the international headline for the ages, baby. Number two, foreign visitors are stunned by the abundance in America. Huge stores, endless food choices, giant drinks. They're learning about sauces, all kind. Just wow, the flavors. That they're just shocked. America's ordinary today, day to day, that we take every day for granted, looks extraordinary to most people from many, many countries. All right, wide parking lots, free ice, big stores, boring to us, but shocking to visitors. The visitors are not just praising tourist attractions, folks. They are praising grocery stores, gas stations, everything. Hospitality, ladies and gentlemen, for we the people, is breaking through the dishonest media narrative, ladies and gentlemen. The truth shall set you free, baby. Many visitors are talking about, documenting, filming examples of friendly, kind service, helpful strangers, and Americans being warm and welcoming. Social media, flat out bypassing the narrative gatekeepers. This is, to me, huge. Instead of foreign media filtering America, visitors are skipping the press. They're posting their own firsthand evidence, baby. That's just incredible, right? America's critics focus on the flaws, but visitors are seeing function, reality, right? They see everything. Roads, stores, choices, churches, service, safety, and a country that still works remarkably well, ladies and gentlemen. The America is terrible narrative collapses when people experience normal Americans. The average American holding a door, smiling at you, giving directions. Okay, that outweighs everything. Day to day, people are going, wow, this is something. Food has become soft power diplomacy. Barbecue, ranch, Waffle House, Twinkies, refills. That's doing what politicians simply cannot do. Convenience, ladies and gentlemen, is a significant part of freedom. choice, mobility, hours of operation, large stores, customer service. That's not trivial. They reflect a culture built around individual access. Yeah, that's right. It's freedom, baby. Visitors are discovering scale, the size of vehicles, roads, stores, stadiums, parking lots, portions. Reminds people how large and productive America really is. It's like everything to these folks are like big, like Texas. There are real criticisms too, and we should admit them, folks. Okay, tipping culture is confusing for a lot of folks. Anyway, some restaurants are adding gratuities for worldwide visitors and all that. That's a concern. But anyway, I'll talk more. This is Liberty Roundtable Live.
Former Sheriff Richard Mack recounts in his book The Proper Role of Law Enforcement how he came to realize while working as a beat cop how wrong the all-too-common orientation of police officers is when they think of their job as being to write tickets and arrest people. Richard Mack tells of his personal transformation from by-the-number cop to Constitution-conscious defender of citizen safety and freedoms. Learn what it really means to serve and protect. Purchase your copy at cspoa.org. That's cspoa.org.
Attention collectors and savvy investors. We are excited to announce a momentous evolution in our journey. Introducing Free Water Coin Company, formerly known as Rust Coin and Gift. This rebranding takes us back to the very roots of where it all began. Free Water, Oregon. It's a tribute to the legacy of Al Rust and a celebration of 3 generations of dedication to excellence in the world of coins and precious gifts. Al, Brian, and Jake Rust standing strong through 64 years of service. Discover a world of exceptional service at Free Water Coin Company, your premier destination for genuine, honest money and precious gifts. Under Brian's expert guidance, Free Water Coin Company, building on the legacy of Rust Coin and Gift, continues its tradition of trust and excellence. Visit us at our Provo, Utah location. Explore our treasures online at freewatercoinco.com or call us at 801-377-1574. Free Water Coin Company, where your future is built one honest coin at a time.
Ladies and gentlemen, the best defense of the greatest country on the face of the earth, known as the United States of America. It's not a speech, folks. It's a visit. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Let people come and experience the greatest country on the face of the earth. Let them shop. Let them eat. Let them drive. Let them meet Americans and let them judge for themselves. Wow, isn't that a elevator pitch for America, baby? The 2026 World Cup is showing the difference between America's, what do you call it, image in the world versus the reality. The image is often dark, painted by the critics, but the reality many visitors are experiencing is generous, abundant, friendly, and alive. For 30 years, ladies and gentlemen, I have said that America is the greatest country in the world, and I mean it now. I mean it now. Visitors are documenting this. People from around the globe are coming with cameras, baby. The evidence in real time. One grocery store, one ice machine, one parking lot, one kindness action at a time. America's enemies understand something that we sometimes forget. If people experience America, the lies get harder to maintain. The Tocqueville saw what America was like back in the day, and worldwide visitors are seeing what America is like now. That's why this World Cup social media wave matters. It's not just tourism, folks. It's testimony. It's documenting of what I've been saying for 30 years, baby. It's people from around the world saying, hey, wait a minute. This ain't what we were told. And that, my friends, is why I still say it over and over. America is the greatest country in the world. America is worth defending. America is worth telling the truth about, ladies and gentlemen. And America is still the greatest country on the face of the earth. Now, let me explain why. It isn't a racial discussion. It isn't that we're white. It isn't that, okay, it's because we're a Christian nation. We're a constitutional republic. We look to a greater source of authority than government. That is God Almighty. And if you're a Christian, fine, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. If you're not a Christian or you're an atheist or whatever else, so be it. You still acknowledge that there's a greater power than government. And that's what we look to for guidance, for understanding. And government serves we the people. Government is not the master. Government is the servant. Now, there's no country on the face of the earth that holistically looks at rights coming from this greater source, and that we the people are vested with those inalienable rights. We're sovereign in those God-given rights that we have. And the only reason government exists is because we pledge our sacred honors. We mutually join together and say, we're going to delegate some of our sovereign authority as children under a greater source than government. We're going to create government, and we're going to delegate it certain powers. And those powers are absolutely limited. And we're going to use horizontal and vertical to divide power more and more and more and more, so no one gets too powerful. We cannot let the few take advantage of the many, right? We can't let the few pull the lever of government in the favor of their interests at the expense of the rest of us. That's the big takeaway, baby. That isn't happening in America. So America is different than every other country because we look to a greater source than government, because we realize that we're vested. We, the people, are the sovereign. Yes, we have individual rights, but we have a collective in our delegation of those rights. And I don't mean collective like socialism. I just mean that, we give these rights to government, these limited rights, for things that we can't carry out individually. And when government carries out a defensive posture, protecting those rights, the government works well. When government goes on the offensive, not the defensive, but the offensive, and starts to think that it has greater authority than we the people, in other words, starts to take power unto itself that don't relate to rights that we have delegated to them, government's out of control. Well, anyway, Americans understand that, and as long as Americans use that moral compass, that moral imperative, defensive government, not offensive, government doesn't have authority to do anything that we don't individually have the right or authority to give it, then we start to understand. And the reason we divide power so much is because we realize, hey, power corrupts absolutely, concentrated in the hands of the few. So we do have a democratic form of government, but tempered with republic ideals. Okay, we do have the chance to vote. We are involved. We have a lot of democratic principles in our constitutional republic, right? Let's be clear. The founders understood that, hey, all those other governments, when each type of government is taken holistically, it goes south fast. How do we create a blend? The founders said you have a republic if you can keep it. Let me end the discussion in this. It's our belief as Americans that I think is critical. Luke Bryan, a well-known country artist, kind of highlights these beliefs in a song called I Believe that I think is really good, that I think kind of highlights the point. Most people are good, he says. I believe kids ought to stay kids as long as they can. I think they ought to turn off the screen, go climb a tree, get dirt on their hands. I believe we got to forgive and make amends because nobody gets a second chance to make new old friends. I believe in working hard for what you've got, even if it don't add up to a heck of a lot. I believe most people are good, and most mamas ought to qualify for sainthood. I believe most Friday nights look better under stadium lights. I believe you love who you love. Ain't nothing you ever should be ashamed of. I believe this world ain't half bad as it looks. I believe most people are good. Now, I don't really, you love who you love. That gets into some, issues about gender and everything else that I'm concerned about. When he says it looks better under stadium lights, he's talking about football games and, spending time together and entertainment. And, we've got a lot of work to do in America to make America great, folks. It's not all entertainment. He says, I believe them streets of gold are worth the work, but I'd still want to go, even if they're paved in dirt. He's talking about heaven. I believe that youth is spent well on the young, because with Because wisdom in your teens would be a lot less fun. So he's kind of poking at it a little bit, but a lot of it's some truth. I believe if you just go by the nightly news, your faith in all mankind is the first thing you'll lose. I believe most people are good, and most mamas ought to qualify for sainthood. I believe most Friday nights look better under stadium lights. I believe that days go slow and years go fast. And every breath is a gift, the first one to the last. Anyway, it's a great song. He says, I believe this world ain't half bad as it looks. Anyway, it's a great song, and it highlights kind of what I'm getting at, folks. America's great because America's good. If America ceases to be good, America will cease to be great. Why do I spend time on this? Because I believe other countries, as they experience the United States, can take away what makes America great. It isn't our color of our skin. It isn't me or you. I'm not better than anybody else. It's the principles that make America great, that we adhere to. That government is the servant, not the master. And government must be limited 66 ways from Sunday or else it gets out of control. And freedom is something that you can never take for granted. Ronald Reagan said, hey, freedom, the loss of freedom is just one generation away. We've got to teach people to understand these principles. And every principle is tied to a blessing or the lack of a blessing. And when you obey the principle that God Almighty has set forth, you get the blessing. Right? It's they say karma. You put out good, good comes back to you. It's like that. But blessings have reasons those blessings occur. When you obey God's laws, you're blessed. When you don't, it doesn't go so well. So the reason we're free is because we've simply made government the servant, not the master. And we look to a higher source of authority and power. And we acknowledge as a country that we're all God's children. And if other nations would put those things in order, God first, love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, might, mind, and strength, okay? And then love thy neighbor as thyself. Those two great commandments hang all the law, right? Then you start obeying the 10 commandments, and pretty soon, every country could be just as great as America if they'd obey those same principles. And that, to me, my fellow Americans, for the 4th of July, is the grand takeaway. Yeah, they're coming and they're loving big drinks and barbecue, baby. They dig it when we hold open doors and we treat people with kindness. And, man, we kill them with kindness. That's awesome. I love all that. But in the end of the day, it's because we follow the laws that God has set forth. And when we do, we're blessed. And when any country or any peoples or any society or whatever you want to say obeys those principles, they can be just as great as America. They can be just as blessed. But if they don't obey those principles, they'll go south. Just as de Tocqueville talked about, if we don't obey these principles, we go south too. America, if it ceases to be good, moral, look to God, it will cease to be great. De Tocqueville was right then, and he's right now. And the reason America is still great is because there's still a lot of good. A lot of good in America. I went to an interfaith church event in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. And I'm telling you, it was tremendous. We all worshiped together, as many religions as we could bring together that were represented. I mean, there were several, and we all prayed in our own way. We all worshiped and celebrated one another. There was love in the room. When 2 or 3 are gathered together in his name, the Spirit of God will be present. I felt it, ladies and gentlemen, and I was absolutely grateful to be there. Let's export the greatest message the world's ever known. What a great opportunity as the World Cup is upon us. I'm grateful to be part of it. I'm grateful to do my part to spread the word, share the love, right? All right, LibertyRoundtable.com. We're available on Twitter, or X, I should say, YouTube, Rumble, Truth Social, LibertyRoundtable.com. Spread the word, share the love, and God save the Republic of the United States of America. Excellent. Thank you, ma'am. Have a wonderful